Hey, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to share something with you. I came across that there's a new channel called Speaking the Truth in All the Realm. Looks like these fellows are from Alaska. Thank you guys for what you're doing. You're awesome. It's an amazing video. I did a video about this. I think Jaron did a video about this, and some other people have done videos about this. This is such a blaringly obvious thing that people, especially the people that believe in the globe, that are even like considering whether or not it's true, are just they can't come to terms with this, because this is Stephen Hawking's on PBS in a television show called Genius, where they actually faked curving water. And later, National Geographic did the same thing, faking an entire television show to trick humanity that a lake curves. So this is so amazing, because what you're going to see is not only did they trick everybody, but the actual people that are in the show, one of them is a scientist that is like a hip scientist, and she's supposed to be some like unknowing participant, and the other one actually works for NASA, and this is amazing. So you got to see this. Check this out.
That anyone can answer big questions for themselves.
How do you measure a flatness of a lake?
Here we go.
In terms of conspiracy theory content generally.
Okay, this is kind of edited in. Jupiter Downs, she actually gave congressional hearing. This is a real congressional hearings where the representative from YouTube, all of the blocks, those like informational blocks you see, if you didn't already know, when you watch a video, is because of people searching for flat Earth, because she specifically cites that in this congressional hearing of people that talk about things that people don't understand, like flat Earth, and that's why this is edited in. But just watch the video.
Our goal is to promote authoritative content to our users.
This is crazy.
They need to personally experience the evidence rather than trusting the measurements of other people.
So you can see it. Yep.
We all have questions.
Joy to boat.
My name is Stephen Hawking, and I believe that anyone can answer big questions.
Real quick, Stephen Hawking had ALS for 57 years, when every other human being that had ALS died within, at the most, 7 years. Okay.
Questions for themselves. So with the help of a few ordinary people and a team of experts,
where you are changes how we see the universe.
Anyone can think like a genius.
Okay, so what he's saying is a couple ordinary individuals that are unknowing, they want to catch their real interpretations, and they're going to do this scientific experiment and use these tools to see over a lake and see whether or not the lake curves.
I've asked 3 ordinary people to come on a journey of discovery. And I want to see if they can grasp the true scale of the universe.
Where are we?
That's a really good question.
We're on Earth.
In my solar system.
I just can't wait. Just check this out. Check this out. Amazing. Remember Joy? Here she is. Everything's impossible until somebody does it. So she works for NASA. Code 130 Office of Communications, Office of the Director of NASA. She works for NASA. Multimedia and Social Media Fellow. She works for NASA. And she's lying. Lying. Back to the video. It's important to note what Stephen Hawking is doing is projecting himself as the utmost authority, and what he's saying is that all of us as the people that don't understand what's happening can become our own genius if we start thinking for ourselves, right? It's important. It's extremely important that you understood what just happened, because it's embarrassing what they're doing. It's like crazy. So once you see this, once you see how much of a fraud this is, then you can just like be empowered to know that guys like Stephen Hawking are frauds, and you are so much more empowered and understand things and go figure it out for yourself. Good for you. But this is what it's all about.
I've asked 3 ordinary people to come on a journey of discovery. And I want to see if they can grasp the true scale of the universe.
Where are we?
That's a really good question.
We're on Earth.
In my solar system,
In the Milky Way.
that's where I'm at.
But how do we know for sure? The volunteers don't know it, but they are going to find out the size and shape of the world right here in Nevada. The first step is to measure our planet. How flat is this lake?
How do you measure a flatness of a lake?
With a huge ruler.
Oh, ho, ho. Troy's like, oh, I don't know. How do you do it? I work for NASA. And I just don't understand. Like, I don't know. A big ruler? I'm just a dumb girl. I don't know. And I'm not saying that to, like, mock women in any way, but, like, what she's doing is mocking women. And that's embarrassing. And from her standpoint of being a representative from the office of NASA, to do this is an embarrassment to not only NASA and a government body and women. This is very, very important.
Or
Yeah, she has a point though. You need something that you know is flat to measure
right.
the surface of the water against.
yeah.
Today, we'll use lasers and all kinds of technology. This is what science is about. It's about inventing new ways of investigating nature, looking for facts, looking for measurements, and come with results which are astonishing.
This lake holds the secret to the size and shape of the Earth.
Okay, so this entire experiment is them going on and doing a laser experiment, but they're completely lying about it. And if you look at all of the documented laser verification over water every single time on a clear day, it proves that water doesn't curve. But somehow PBS got the one day where the water curved. So let me fast forward a little bit. If you haven't seen this, watch the whole video from the science of the counterintelligence in the description, or watch my video, which is called MSN is Lying. Jaron also has an amazing video about this. There's a lot of videos proving how, Taboo Conspiracy has a great video about this. And that's how I started making this video specifically about genius. But there's so many different things of how they screwed up but it's so bad that they almost did it on purpose. So let's move forward.
24 feet.
Woo! 24 feet.
24 feet. Awesome.
At 6 miles, the lake has fallen 4 times lower than before. So what is going on? The green line shows the path of the laser and the view from the telescope. And the gold line shows how the data points form the beginning of a curve.
So that means this lake isn't flat.
It's not even close.
No.
That's crazy.
Hang
I'll
on,
never look
let's
at a lake
back
the
up.
same way.
Let's back up just a little bit. Check this out. Okay. This is what all of the globe proponents think, and every other person that think when they say the oceans go and the boat goes first and the mast goes last and they go below the horizon. There it is, right there. So Stephen Hawking on PBS is saying that over 6 miles, the boat dips down that far. From 6 miles. So this boat here is about 3 miles out. And the helicopter in the television show is 6 miles away. So what they're saying is that the boat is clearly like out of visibility. How many times have you been out on a lake or the ocean and you can look out in the ocean and you can see much more than 3 miles or 6 miles? Every single person knows this. Anyone that lives near the coast knows this. It's like it's an embarrassment that they would even put this out here. So this is supposed to be 3 miles away. Let me back up just to really look at this. Okay? Check it out.
The green line shows the path of the laser and the view from the telescope. And the gold line shows how the data points form the beginning of a curve.
So that means...
And if you watch the whole show, they say the boat was 3 miles and that the opposite shore is 6 miles. So they're saying at 6 miles away, the helicopter is 24 feet below the horizon. So they're saying on anywhere you go, the opposite shore of a 6 mile lake, the helicopter can fly that far below what you can see. It has to fly 24 feet vertically in the air in order to be able to see it. It's like, I can't even believe that they would say this. This is Stephen Hawking, okay, and Joy, who actually is a representative from NASA. It's like, okay.
This lake isn't flat.
It's not even close.
No.
What do you say, Joy? What does NASA say about this? I don't know.
That's crazy.
I'll never look at a lake the same way. I'll never look at a big body of water the same way now that I know it's following the curvature of the Earth.
So we synchronized the liftoff and landing at the exact moment the helicopter crosses the horizon. Nothing has been altered, and the official time code of the full program is given. The helicopter here is about to descend below the horizon, and the helicopter here is about to crest the horizon and enter our line of sight. The waves of the lake in both scenes are identical, and the helicopter is not. The same bird flies the same path in both scenes. These scenes are trick photography and not true recordings.
I got him.
As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight.
right now?
These are the same scenes with extra magnification.
It worked. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to just do that off a whim and it just came to me, that was incredible.
And then there's the other lady. Let's see what we know about her.
My name is Kat Bobineau, and I am a scientist. It worked. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to just do that off a whim and it just came to me, that was incredible. I received my master's in biology at Cal State East Bay in Hayward, California. I was offered an internship at KQED, which is a PBS channel. I was also able to do an internship at the University of Alabama in herpetology, where I worked with the diamondback water snake and the python. 2 years later, I got another internship in neurobiology at the University of Vermont. There, I studied 3-day-old chicken embryos, in which I would cut the shell open and take out the neural tube. I admire Bill Nye the Science Guy, Carl Sagan for the work he did with Cosmos, and Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson for his continual work with the Cosmos Show, Dr. Stephen Hawking with his perseverance and teaching us physics and all about the universe. You can check me out on television with a cat nose, on YouTube with In the Know with Kat Bobineau, and at my website, katbobineau.com. I'm Kat Bobineau, and I am a scientist. I'm not a scientist, and to be able to just do that off a whim and it just came to me.
The volunteers don't know it. I've asked 3 ordinary people, so with the help of a few ordinary people.
Our journey leads to nasa.gov. Oh, this is serious. Yes, it is. Working at NASA in the director's office, such as Joy does, is not ordinary at all. Throughout the entire article, much of which we're skipping over, Joy details her status as a masterclass cinematographer, a self-professed science storyteller, and in her own words, by science storytelling, I don't mean fictional storytelling.
As it lands, it completely disappears from my line of sight.
I mean placing science research in context with, for example, we're told that Joy is actually specially selected and had instructions that were secret, not known to the other participants, that she wasn't supposed to say what they'd be doing. She knew what they'd be doing on the shoot, and that they wanted to capture their genuine reactions. None of these are genuine reactions!
The reports from the helicopter, they're still flying. But I can't see it. To wrap your head around it in that short a time was a little difficult for me. I was like, this is crazy.
Tens of millions of people saw this survey and it became reality to them. And then people saw clips online and people shared by word of mouth. About 500 million people watched Apollo 11, and that's only including the very first broadcast. The Stephen Hawking program aired on June 1st, 2016. Kat Bobineau is a scientist in March of 2016, about 2.5 months before she claimed not to be a scientist.
I still have a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that we measured the Earth at that lake.
I'll never look at a lake the same way. I'll never look at a big body of water the same way now that I know it's following the curvature of the Earth.
You had the laser, the boat, the telescope, and the helicopter. These people literally create dollars out of thin air. It's not about dollars. We've become domesticated livestock marching towards the slaughterhouse. Oh, some people might say, it's impossible. Nobody could hide that the stars are actually lights inside the most intelligently designed lens ever created, and that the Earth is flat beneath it, just like the Bible says in Genesis 1. Actually, there is one buddy who could. Satan.
I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
Of course, she didn't mention the actual strategy is a Trojan horse.
A few years back, the Discovery Channel had a program where they used lasers and telescopes to show that the surface of a large lake was curved due to the curvature of the Earth.
Let me know when you can see us on spots of the horizon. All right, Brian, how many feet are we above the lake?
24 feet.
The Flat Earth proponents responded to this program with a series of videos on YouTube.
I'm going to go with CGI on that whole helicopter thing, because people would say, oh, look, well, what do you mean it's CGI? That you saw the helicopter, that doesn't make it real.
Series of videos on YouTube.
I'm going to go with CGI on that whole helicopter thing, because people would say, oh, look, well, what do you mean it's CGI? That you saw the helicopter, that doesn't make it real.
All of which supposedly show errors made by the people behind the Discovery Channel program. What drives this sort of stuff?
I'm just going to give a little shout out that Dean Marble and Balls Out Truth. Balls Out was one of the physicists. He's a high school physicist that he was one of the guys that inspired me to do and come out and say what I say, because he's a high school teacher, and he's a very intelligent guy. His stuff's taken down, but he was just a high school teacher, and he is a college graduate, and he understands all of physics, and he would go in and speak about how everything is impossible when you get into the impossible, like outer space. And then they have the counterintelligence, like this moron, trying to mock him. And Dean Marble is another guy who's amazing. This guy is amazing. And he's just, this is what we're doing. It's calling it out. Like, this is what you're looking at. This guy right here should be hung for crimes against humanity, because he knows he's lying. And he is deceiving humanity. It's important to note that.
Stubborn refusal to deal with reality. Part of the problem is that even the simplest demonstrations, like Wallace's or the Discovery Channels, require careful preparation and specialized equipment. Not everybody has access to a helicopter and a telescope to do these sorts of tests. That's often a complaint that the Flat Earth people make. They need to personally experience the evidence, rather than trusting the measurements of other people.
We're heading to the largest lake in California to meet the Independent Investigations Group. And they want to do a round Earth test, basically a test that will prove that the Earth is not flat, but that it is round. James, how are you?
Okay.
Okay, so what's happening here right now?
Okay, this is the boat-based target. It's horizontal stripes. We're going to launch a small boat out into the water here with a striped target.
One way that Aristotle proved 2,000 years ago that the Earth is a sphere was with a boat test. As a boat approaches the horizon, it appears to slowly dip down into the water before disappearing completely.
So it'll be a very visual depiction of the curvature of the Earth.
So it's starting?
Yeah.
Okay, so the test is starting. It's starting right now.
At first, all the stripes are clearly visible. But sure enough, as the boat reaches the horizon, the stripes begin to disappear one by one.
The horizon and surface of the water is beyond the boat. That means the boat is not behind any Earth curvature. The bottom stripe here has a little bit of red hue to it.
One by one.
It's also important to note, I don't know if you saw it, but on the beginning of the video, they misskew it. The bottom, the red is the bottom of the boat. There's not another white on the bottom. It's not balanced. So it's literally sitting perfectly on the balance of the water. It's intended to trick you.
It's pretty amazing. You can actually see it pretty clearly with this camera. Here, and you see that the red stripe that was at the bottom has completely disappeared, and it's now getting closer to sort of the middle green stripe that is.
So we've lost about 1.5 stripes.
Right. So this can only happen why?
Because of the curvature of the Earth.
Hopefully we can go over CIA and KGB documents some other time. It's all one government selling you a false Christ. Mercy, it's not in them, and they are wiping your mind.
James Bullock is a professor of physics and astronomy at the University of California, Irvine. He specializes in how galaxies form.
The universe. Now this guy, I truly believe that this guy just he's just like one of those intelligent morons, that he knows what he knows. He knows what he was told, and he tells everyone about how he looks up in the sky and he just sees things.
Began about 14 billion years ago, an event that we call the Big Bang.
Did you ever think a few years ago that you'd be having this discussion for National Geographic?
It's frankly shocking. We've known for 2,000 years, based on observations you can make with your own eyes, that the world is round.
But they have all the evidence right in front of them and they still choose not to believe in it.
You know, who knows what motivates people?
Now again, let's consider this. This is National Geographic. This is what they teach our children. This woman just went out and knows that that vertical inflatable was perfectly visible, and she knows that she could see it because she was looking through the camera herself and looking at it. And now she's speaking to this professor. I'm not sure if she's like, I don't know if he knows or whatever that what they actually saw or what she saw or what the television show's about, but she's just questioning him on what he thinks about, you know, round Earth or flat Earth. But this is how it works. This is how it works. And you understand, like, he doesn't quite understand what she's doing.
People from the inside to believe these things, but science is important. Science is valuable. Science saves lives, it makes our lives better and more comfortable. And to question what scientists are saying, it's really scary.
Are they a threat to the work that you do as a scientist?
If, say, governments stop funding science because of some kind of anti-science, anti-intellectual feedback they're getting from the populace, that's when it really starts getting dangerous for our civilization.